Hello, everybody. Welcome to tonight's show, guys. I'm telling you, I love seeing all the new ways that the government is going to stop spending taxpayer dollars. Elon Musk's DOGE and Trump said they're going to be cutting big time a lot of federal agencies. And guys, we're talking about some big agencies like part of the Pentagon, the Department of Education. We're talking about PBN, PBS, Planned Parenthood. We're talking about parts of the Internal Revenue Service, the IRS. Guys, I've got news to show you tonight that you're not even going to believe, guys, of the IRS literally getting a $46 billion increase in funding to say they wanted to get more money for the government, and they were only able to barely get $4 billion more. We spent $46 billion more to get only $4 billion more. What a waste of money. But Trump said he's planning to cut a lot of the spending through these government agencies and even delete and remove a lot of them, as well as remove the spending that Biden has done through executive action using the budget reconciliation. I'm ready to see America actually put money back into Americans' pockets. We also have it where Trump has come out and said the most common sense thing about the drones. He said, if we don't know what they are or who they are from or who owns them, just shoot them down and stop worrying about them. And guys, it's gotten to the point where just average day Americans said, I'm tired of these things flying over my houses, and they're literally shooting them down, guys. This is insane. We also have it where RFK said that on day one, he is going to ban all GMOs in the United States, putting America one step closer to being healthier and getting away from processed foods and all these types of things being done with our animals and plants to genetically modify them. And guys, this is big. This is big, guys. Remember, Trump said he was going to sue all the news stations for defamation for $10 billion. Well, the lawsuits have started, and they're and all the courts are now pushing for this. George Stephanopoulos, how does Trump say it, is to be depositioned for the words in a clip that I'm going to show you that's in this case for Trump to win $10 billion. This is huge, guys. But I want to say thank you to everybody that's watching. Thank you so much for your support. Guys, we couldn't do this without you. If you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button so I can serve you every day with the top news. And if you don't mind, click the thumbs up like button, guys. We're here to serve you, and it really helps out the channel so much. And thank you to all of our members of the channel. Guys, y'all are so amazing. I love seeing the green in the chat. And thank you to everybody that gives a super chat donation. We're so grateful for your support, guys. And we just want to continue making a difference with what you see on this channel, guys. But I'm telling you, the big thing now, guys, Trump is going after Biden for the wall, for the border. Not only did he let in the most amount of illegals ever in the history of America, but now he's selling off pieces for pennies. And now Trump is going after him. Check this out.
Border bargain, and everything must go. President Biden's trying to pull a fast one on the incoming Trump administration with a border wall fire sale. He's scrambling to auction off thousands of unused sections for scrap metal prices. That's right, these wall parts, all with your tax dollars, have been collecting dust in the desert ever since Biden declared he wouldn't build another foot of wall. And now, Joe's practically giving them away, with opening bids as low as $5 for 20 tons of steel bollards on a website littered with listings. I bet Hunter's already speed dialing a Ukrainian buyer for the old man. Thankfully, Joe's days of sabotage at the border are almost over. Tom Homan says he'll put an end to the fire sale.
After the inauguration, we're going to stop it. But it's shocking to me that, and I saw several articles today and actually an ad, they're selling these things pennies on the dollar of what the taxpayers paid for. Yeah. So again, here's an example of them just trying to put us in a bad position and not have that equipment available to us.
Speaking of Homan, the incoming border czar just had a successful meeting with New York City Mayor Eric Adams, with Adams reportedly eyeing an executive order to unravel his sanctuary city policy. Watch.
Boom.
I saw the cop in him, and he has promised to work with us to target violent, criminal, illegal aliens in this city. We're talking about having agents assigned in the precincts rather than release them straight to the street on this bail reform law, given to my agents to take care of. So we promised to put our two staffs together and work out the details, but as of yesterday, he's all in. And he's willing to take the hits from the left to do it, because it's the right thing to do. He's putting public safety over politics.
I can't tell if Biden is trying to stick it to Donald Trump or because he realizes he's sticking it to the taxpayer.
Yes.
Totally. I mean, this is the same thing that happened on the way in. Remember, they just halted construction and they left all the stuff out there. It was rotting in the desert. Those are your pieces of steel, and your pieces of steel, and your pieces of steel, and your pieces of steel. This is what should be happening. Talk about DOGE. Where are the DOGE people? Like, what should we do? Let's figure out the most efficient way to maintain this product so that when Trump comes in and wants to build the wall, it will be all ready to go. That's what a logical person who's running an efficient operation would do. This is preposterous.
Tyrus.
Guys, I'm just saying, I hate to interrupt, but it really bothers me when Trump is planning to build the wall. Why would you sell the wall before Trump gets in office? Biden should be impeached for this, for literally allowing so much chaos at the border and then doing this just to spite Americans. It's sickening.
Have you put a bid on
Hold on,
some
because
steel?
I wanted to consult your financial team, because there's a good chance that we could buy these and then sell wall pieces on Amazon back to incoming administration. Now, that is capitalism, albeit disgusting.
I'll talk to my team about that.
Get back to me. It'll be a joint venture.
Okay.
But again, I have a lot of problems with this story. First of all, there was a lot of fake news in the front of it. I believe Biden racing to sell. Racing. So that's a bit much, media. He doesn't even race to the bathroom anymore. Let's stop. I don't think he knows anything about this. I don't think there's a cue card that he's reading from. I think he has quietly gone back to the basement. We don't see any word is for everything that President Trump and his team is doing. The more they're advancing, the more meetings they had. Typically, this would have been a big problem. The media have been all over it, and Biden's been pretty silent on that. I don't think he's not saying anything on that to focus on selling this metal. I think this is the last of the secret progressive moves. I don't think this is a Biden thing. I think this is an administration thing. And as soon as they get out, again, we'll sell, dimes on dollars.
Tyrus and I are going into business together.
Yes.
Could be a terrible idea. Could be the best thing we've ever done.
We don't know.
We don't know. We'll let you know.
Guys, I'm telling you, it's really, when I see this, it's sickening, because all Trump trying to do is make things better. And then this news drops, guys. This is breaking news today. Ukraine officially rejects Christmas ceasefire with Russia. So, again, Trump is literally trying to work. But he said, Zelensky, if you do not come to the table and talk about a ceasefire with us, we are going to pull all your funding. And I think you should. Let me know your thoughts. I'm so tired of seeing so much war and whatnot, the industrial war complex. And what I'm tired of seeing is just taking advantage of the average American taxpayer, their money and whatnot, because guess what? The FBI needs an overhaul. I'm so glad Kash Patel is jumping in, because we got new news on what happened with the Trump assassination attempts, and you're not going to believe it, guys. You can't even make this stuff up. Check this out.
Too, but I owe you the truth because the show's always going to be authentic. When I was on the detail and we didn't have any of these security problems, airspace was secure, nothing happened at protectees on my watch or any time I was over on the detail at all, okay? We had a pretty good group of guys who knew what they were doing, weren't perfect, but, we had a pretty good group of guys. I'm going to be honest with you. You don't need to write emails like this. I get that. The tone is definitely, just don't talk to people like that. However, the gist of the email is pretty much accurate. If you're going to go in the Secret Service and you want to do the protection detail in the Secret Service, then folks, there's really, if you take a day off, if you're requesting a day off, the shift has, I'm just going to throw a number. It's not the real number, I promise you, but let's say the shift around the president has 15 guys on it. There's 15 guys protecting President Biden right now. If someone requests an RDO or an SDO, scheduled day off, that's unplanned, someone else who had a day off has to come in. And you don't work short, ever, on the detail. So I get it. The tone is kind of like, I'm just saying, like, someone gets effed over bad. Someone who had a day off to go to his kid's birthday party now has to cancel to fill in for the other guy. So I get why some of the agents were pissed off. You shouldn't talk to the guys like this. They're busting their ass, and I love you guys. But when I was there, this is the way it pretty much went down. I mean, if you got a day off and you get called in, it pretty much sucks. I want to play this too. This happened on Jesse Waters' show last night. This is some relatively new information. Apparently, there was an engagement with remember the golf course incident with Donald Trump? They had the potential assassin right there waiting in the woods. And then there's an engagement with the Secret Service. This is some new stuff. Check this out and some commentary on the other side.
2 new revelations from the Trump Assassination Task Force. According to their report, the Secret Service agent who spotted Ryan Ruth in the bushes outside Trump's golf course was only 5 feet away when he opened fire and missed him. Not once, not twice, 6 times. He missed him 6 times from 5 feet.
5 feet, guys.
How does a trained agent who passed the firearms test miss a target away, 5 feet away? That's not all. The report says the Secret Service found out at 2:30 in the morning that Trump would be golfing later that day, but they didn't secure the course, allowing Ruth to camp out for 12 hours before anyone saw him. Meanwhile, Ruth appeared in federal court this morning, and his legal team signaling they're going to go with the insanity defense.
Wow.
How convenient. Ruth's public defender said he has had multiple meetings with a mental health expert while in jail, and the witnesses who saw him before the arrest say he was hallucinating and delusional, of course. Prosecutors also revealed that Ruth has been doing a lot more writing behind bars than initially reported. Ruth has written nearly 40 letters to news outlets in an attempt to persuade them that he's an honorable guy, but they were intercepted before they reached their targets. We also know that only 17 of the 18 cell phones found in Ruth's possession belong to him.
Wow.
Why does he have 18 cell phones? And wait, he has 17, so who owns the last phone? And why did Ruth have it?
Okay, there's a number of takeaways there. I want to focus on a couple. Obviously, we've got to get the marksmanship issue down. Folks, the Secret Service credo, motto about firearms when I was there, and I'm pretty sure still today, is you are responsible for every round. The core of that being, if you're going to unleash a round anywhere near the president, then you damn well better hit something, and it better not be one of the good guys. It's easy for me to Monday morning quarterback anything. I'm just saying this is what we do. And if we've got to up the firearms requals to weekly instead of monthly, if it's got to be more tactical rather than paper shooting, fine. But we need a director in there. That's why I keep talking about this, who understands this stuff, and we need a premium on shooting. Because I'm telling you, when I was there, a lot of guys skipped their training requirements, and it happened a lot. So that may have something to do with this, may not. But second, folks, how the hell was there no pre-operation surveillance done to detect this guy that he was sitting there all this time? I cannot believe that they went to a golf course. They knew he was going to hours in advance, and nobody went out there and did any pre-op surveillance. Is such an act of misfeasance, borderline malfeasance, that people should have been fired over it. It's disgraceful. We need a director in there to clean this thing up, man. This is way past the point of like, oh, my bad. Someone's going to die if we don't get this done soon. They need to get going on this quick, because the people in charge now are, folks, they're calcified in their thinking. They're never going to change anything because they can't. They need...
Guys, I'm telling you, the amount of incompetency, and again, people ask in the comments, I read them, guys, I read your comments. They ask, they say, Joel, is this incompetent? Is it intentional? How in the world do you miss from 5 feet away? Either you're really scared and you can't hold it straight, but the amount of money that they get, guys, is billions of dollars, and they can't find the best people, marksmen, to protect the president. This makes me nervous. This is where our money's being wasted. Look at this right here. Guys, the IRS received $46 billion in 2023, right here, in extra funding for enforcement, and raked in a massive sum of $4.7 billion. This is government work for you. We gave them $46 billion and they only got $4.7 billion more. That is a total loss to the American people, to taxpayers. We need common sense back. Just like this. Everybody's like, what about the drones? What do we do with the drones? What do we do with the drones? Guys, Donald Trump says, mysterious drone sightings all over the country. Can this really be happening without our government's knowledge? And we have news now that Donald Trump is now receiving daily presidential briefs. So he knows, but he's putting this out there. I don't think so. Let the public know and now. Otherwise, shot them down. Ooh. Shoot them down, DJT. Guys, let me show you what's actually happening right now because they're not doing anything. Patriots in New Jersey are now shooting down the drones. Like, you can't make this up, guys. They're literally taking it upon themselves. These things, they're just shooting. Because they're like, look, if the government's not going to do anything about it, then we sure as heck need to do something to protect ourselves. Also, guys, again, the breaking news is just breaking with what I'm about to show you next. Check this out.
And the idea of giving some others preemptive pardons appears to be gaining steam. Senior White House correspondent Peter Doocy has details tonight.
Nearly 1,500 presidential commutations and 39 presidential pardons in one day, a record high. Overshadowed.
Senior White House correspondent Peter Doocy has details tonight.
Oh, sorry about that.
Nearly 1,500 presidential commutations and 39 presidential pardons in one day to a recent prisoner swap with Beijing. Donald Trump Jr.'s theory, in the form of a question, why on earth would Joe Biden commute/pardon a Chinese national in Zhejiang whose clemency is tied to a recent prisoner swap with Beijing? Donald Trump Jr.'s theory, in the form of a question, why on earth would Joe Biden commute/Conahan, a former Pennsylvania judge convicted in the infamous Kids for Cash scandal, raking in millions of dollars to send juvenile defendants to an associate's for-profit prisons. And now Democrats defending potential preemptive pardons for people the Biden team fears could be prosecuted by the Trump team.
I think the president's got to weigh a lot of different factors. How seriously he believes Kash Patel, the nominee to be FBI director, and the
team fears could be prosecuted by the Trump team.
I think the president's got to weigh a lot of different factors. How seriously he believes Kash Patel, the nominee to be FBI director, and the other nominees to lead the Trump administration's law enforcement agency.
Guys, so you see, like, these things are really bothering a lot of people. And I'm sorry with that. There was something messed up with the video. But listen to this. One of the people that he pardoned stole $53 million from a small Illinois town. And she was supposed to serve like a 20-year sentence, and Biden gave her clemency. Listen to this.
Today, President Biden commuted the prison sentences for nearly 1,500 people. Among those on the list, the disgraced former controller of Dixon, Rita Crundwell. Crundwell pleaded guilty to stealing nearly $54 million from taxpayers to fund her lavish lifestyle and a ranch where she bred horses. In 2013, she was sentenced to nearly 20 years in federal prison. But during the COVID pandemic, she was released on home confinement. Dixon's city manager called the decision, quote, a complete travesty of justice. Today,
y'all hear that, guys? Why would she stole $53 million from normal people from a small town. Why would he commute her sentence? This literally makes no sense. And then, guys, I'm telling you, DOGE, our boy John Kennedy, they are literally going off big time on the amount of corruption that they're finding. Thank you so much, excuse me, Judy Lynn, for the gifted 5 TrueLife News memberships. Let's go. Y'all show Judy Lynn some love in the chat. And welcome to the family, James Barger. Let's go. And Rick Robatali. I love it. Y'all show them some love in the chat. But check this out, guys. You can't make this up.
For a less wasteful federal government, for a more efficient federal government. We spend a little over $6 trillion a year, as Senator Sanders so eloquently pointed out. When you spend $6 trillion a year, somebody's getting $6 trillion a year.
Ooh.
Every penny in our budget has a constituency, and that constituency will fight us. They will fight us. And I recognize that, and it's something that as we go about downsizing government, we have to be mindful of. However, there is one constituency that is not going to be able to fight us in our quest to scrutinize federal spending, and I'm referring to dead people.
Dead people.
And that's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about dead people and the fact that they're getting money from the federal government. In fiscal year 2023 alone, this is just 1 year, our government sent $1.3 billion, not $1.3 million. We sent $1.3 billion in checks to dead people. Those aren't my numbers. Those numbers come from the Office of Management and Budget.
Wow.
That's just 1 year. Not only is the federal government sending checks to dead people, those checks are being cashed. Now, I have heard, Mr. President, of dead people voting, but cashing the checks?
What?
You don't have to be God's perfect idiot to realize that there's fraud happening with respect to all this money. Here's how this problem arises. When you die in America, your name is sent to the Vital Records Office in your state. And at that point, the Social Security Administration pays each state to get an ongoing list of deceased Americans in that state. So far, so good. The Social Security Administration takes this data, this list of deceased people, and they compile on an ongoing basis a list called the Death Master File. The Death Master File. That's just a list of everybody, updated daily, of people in the United States who are deceased. Why does the Social Security Administration do this? Well, so the SSA, Social Security Administration, can stop sending people who have died checks.
Makes sense.
So far, so good. There's just one problem. I discovered this about 7 years ago. The Social Security Administration refuses to share that list with anybody else in the federal government. They won't share it with any other federal agencies, many of which send out checks.
What?
The Department of Treasury, for example, sends out checks. SSA won't share the information with them. The Small Business Administration sends out a lot of checks. The Social Security Administration has a list of all deceased Americans, but SSA will not share that information with the SBA. I'll give you some examples. You remember, Mr. President, when we were in the coronavirus crisis, so we had an economic meltdown. We sent stimulus checks to Americans to try to keep the economy on its feet. We paid $1.4 billion to dead people.
Wow.
And they cashed the checks.
That's a lot of money.
The Paycheck Protection Program, which was a part of our stimulus program, paid out $38 million alone to dead people. These were people who were using, live people, obviously, who were using dead people's Social Security numbers to collect payments. The COVID-19 Economic Disaster Injury Disaster Loan Fund, another culprit, was involved in sending checks to dead people. The Department of Veterans Affairs, and I'm not blaming them, in many respects it's not their fault. A couple of years ago, a scam artist.
Guys, I'm telling you, the amount of corruption that's in the United States is so unreal. Guys, I'm showing you, I'm bringing the receipts. You are seeing for yourself that Americans are getting screwed over every single day. And listen to what you're about to hear next from our next FBI director.
So I already told you what we did when we briefed Trump on the originations and what he did, based on the intel we had at the time. Then enter Fauci and the media. No, the Chinese would never do this. It's not about, no, it didn't come from them. Then the wet bat thing came out and some other goofy whatever.
It's about COVID.
Right. Okay, what did we just learn 6 weeks ago? Gina Haspel, as director of the CIA, under Trump, authorized 6 case officers and intelligence analysts to be paid off so that they would change their assessment on COVID originations.
Correct.
That's not a Kash Patel thing.
That's CIA.
That's a CIA institutional decision to spend taxpayer dollars to lie to the world where COVID came from because it fit the narrative that Fauci and the media wanted out there, along with Gina Haspel, because she didn't want Donald Trump to get the credit for reading the intel right and making the hard right decision. But what happens is we're 2 years down the road from that, 3, and that story's been written. You know, that iron has been cast. So half the public is like, what are you guys talking about? That's a right-wing conspiracy. And this is why it's so important to keep drilling at that work, because many more of these instances of conduct will come to light. Blowers, congressional oversight. And
that's given me a lot of hope.
Guys, do you hear that? You can't make this up, guys. The media, a lot of these internal governments, all conspiring for a narrative, lying to the American people. It literally breaks my heart because it's like, dang, who are you supposed to trust? Well, that's why I love it that we have X. I love it that, you know, we have like shows like what I do where I will go and I'll filter through and find the truth for you. So that way you don't have to believe everything that you see. I'll bring the receipts. But I love what you're about to see next, guys, because the new change is coming. Check it out.
There's a dinosaur loose in D.C.
Well, the question then becomes, does this knowledge that he has, does that mean that he will be more Reagan-esque in his delivery, or is it like the velociraptor who tests the door in Jurassic Park and then is now figuring out how he can more successfully wreak havoc?
Right. Several people who have worked for him over the years have used the Jurassic Park analogy, so I think that seems...
Yes, I didn't make it up.
Right.
A Trumposaurus Rex is coming to town, and he's not coming alone. He's bringing Stegosaurus and Triceratops.
This is the first time that I can remember in modern history, at least, that I've been in the United States and following U.S. politics, where such an enormous number of business people have been motivated to come and work inside of the administration. I think that the Democrats would never have assembled a group of people like this. The United States economy is too complicated to be managed by theoreticians, by folks with random PhDs and absolutely no working experience in the real world. And when you bring those people in to oversee those PhDs, I think you probably get better outcomes.
Aren't you sick of a government run by politicians, professors, and economists? You know, people with no real-life experience. They don't know how things work. This time is different. We're bringing in men and women who know how to create things from scratch and build stuff within a budget. And if they don't get results, get fired. This is the most real American cabinet the country's ever seen. Elon Musk says we're about to experience the most dramatic transformation since the nation's founding.
Let's go.
What a lucky time to be alive. Now people have come into Washington before promising change and have gotten chewed up and spit out. Washington's very hard to change. The founders devised a system of government of checks and balances, so change is slow. But this time just feels different. Here's why.
I would say is, you should never bet against Elon. And isn't there, we all know there's an extraordinary amount of waste, and it is unsustainable. There are two ways to resolve them. You can cut spending and cut waste, or you can raise taxes massively. And I take this election in the U.S. for standing for the proposition we're not going to go the European-style socialist route of having massive tax hikes, and then that suggests, you need to try something like the DOGE thing, and that's actually what is going to happen.
There's a muted panic rippling through D.C. Democrats are concerned that Trump's coming in with more experience and with a team that understands the levers of government in a way that can shape the government to their will. Some Democrats are starting to get DOGE curious. Trump and Elon are finding a wellspring of unexpected cooperation from Democrats in the House. Democrats are even pitching ideas like, how about we shrink Homeland Security? Well, how about it? Another Democrat has been pitching the idea of moving all federal agencies out of D.C. and sending them all over the country. Trump loves that idea. So do we. One Democrat admits there are so many inefficiencies, so many layers of government, and wants to help. We've actually never witnessed this many Democrats get on board with streamlining government, ever. And it's making bureaucrats really uncomfortable.
I had a conversation with the Deputy Secretary of Defense where we were talking about the $850 billion budget, and you would have thought, like, I asked what underwear she was wearing. Like, her response to being questioned about the lack of passing an audit on $850 billion, it was
multiple times.
Just, went like, how dare you? Do you even know what an audit is? And I'm like, I thought I did, but maybe I don't. But the arrogance of it was wild.
The Pentagon's not the only department getting audited. Every agency is getting audited. Biden spent $3 billion to build 93 electric mail trucks. That comes to $32 million per mail truck.
Holy moly.
You've seen a mail truck. They work fine. You get your mail, right? A Formula One race car doesn't cost $32 million, not even half that. This is why there's inflation. He's spending $32 million per mail truck. You know who got the contract? Oshkosh Defense, a defense contractor from Wisconsin, swing state. What's a defense contractor doing making electric mail trucks? Because they know how to win contracts and bilk the feds.
Wow.
That's why. This company, Oshkosh Defense, was supposed to build 60,000. They only built 93. The CEO, John Pfeiffer, says he's really happy with the progress. The guy's a Democrat donor, by the way. If you had given this contract to Musk, we'd be done by now with money left over.
Ain't that the truth?
Biden spent $1 billion on DEI grants. What even is a DEI grant? What is it, reparations? Or the University of Honolulu has a DEI program. Here's $20 million, blow it on a luau. Did the National Action Network get a DEI grant? Because Al applied for it. We found out $170 million went to DEI mental health training. What's that? Is that sensitivity training for whites or therapy sessions for blacks? We don't know. They won't tell us. $1 billion. This is why bacon's $11.
Wow.
And you know what happened this year? All these companies dropped their DEI programs. It was one big waste of $1 billion. DEI went bankrupt. Biden's been having a fire sale down at the border. He stopped building Trump's wall and started selling scrap metal for pennies on the dollar. You can bid for the wall leftovers. Bidding starts at $5 per steel bollard. Biden knows what Trump's going to need, and it's more steel to restart the wall. But he's selling it on Facebook Marketplace. So the taxpayers take a bath. And Trump has to pay full price next year, meaning you do. So they're selling border wall, and other Democrats are harboring illegal alien gangbangers, so Trump can't deport them. Here's the borders are.
They can sit back and watch us, which I find incredible. You don't want to take public safety threats out of your community and help us. But there are laws on the books that we will prosecute. I've arrested U.S. citizens for harboring an alien in their home or place of employment. If I can do it to a citizen, why can't I do it to a politician who's going to actively get in our way, prevent us from doing our job?
Now, Jose from Venezuela, who's got a knack for sex trafficking, has face tattoos. Democrats are going to stop Tom Homan from picking that bad hombre up and putting him on a plane home? They're really going to do that. Primetime has a policy. If you're an illegal alien with a face tattoo, you're out. I don't even need to see your rap sheet. We know you have one. We have enough to worry about with drones flying all over the place. The sitting president hasn't even said a word. No surprise. But Trump just beat him to the punch. Quote, mystery drone sightings all over.
Guys, I actually have some breaking news on the drones in just a moment, and I promise you're not going to believe it because it's that bad.
The country. Can this really be happening without our government's knowledge? I don't think so. Let the public know, and now. Otherwise, shoot them down. This isn't the Dark Ages. We're not just going to sit and lay back like peasants and let our rulers experiment on us and then lie to us about it. The government knows exactly what the drones are. They're behind them. Now that Trump's involved, the Pentagon's going to have to cough it up. The Biden administration doesn't even respect the Democrat senator from New Jersey enough to tell him what's going on in his own state.
There hasn't been enough transparency, letting people know what's happening. It's allowing a lot of potentially misinformation to spread, or at least fear.
You're the senator from New Jersey. There are more drones than stars in the sky. Go march into Langley and get some answers for your people. Come on, Booker. What are we all doing? We're just going to be staring into the sky with our iPhones and shotguns every night? There's suspicious drones blanketing an American state, but the media is upset that Trump is on the cover of a magazine.
Is this a joke? Did we get something wrong? Did someone scam us? Are we sure about this, producers? There is a convicted felon on the cover of Time magazine as the person of the year. Maybe we're being scammed.
It's not always been great people that have been on the cover of Time, right? It's been people like Joseph Stalin and Adolf Hitler and Khrushchev and Khomeini. So he's in that kind of company as well.
Let's remember who else has been given this title in years past in the same category. Adolf Hitler, Joseph Stalin, Ayatollah Khomeini, and Vladimir Putin. In fact, Stalin won the distinction twice, just like Trump. Regardless of the company he keeps, we know how important these magazine covers are to Trump.
Who does Joy Reid think should be Person of the Year? Who, Joy? Who? Give me a name. All the bartenders in D.C. are a little chagrined because they voted for Kamala, obviously. One says, in his experience, Democrats tip more and are generally lower maintenance guests than Democrats. So D.C. bartenders say Republicans are more generous to workers and aren't a bunch of drama queens? That sounds about right. So there's a silver lining. So what's happening now is Trump has the wind at its back, and no one's stepping up to challenge him.
I think it's humiliating and maddening that Donald Trump is basically the president right now. I mean, he is dominating coverage. He is being feted. He won. The party doesn't really know where to go. It doesn't have a leader right now stepping forward during this vacuum. And I think Trump's having a honeymoon. And, you know, good for him.
This weekend, Trump will be at the Army-Navy game in Philly, and he's bringing the whole crew. J.D. Vance, Hegseth, DeSantis, Daniel Penny. The sitting president usually flips the coin at the Army-Navy game, but we don't know where Joe Biden is.
Ooh, I hope Trump does it.
Elena Cardone's a former Democrat turned Trump supporter and founder of 10 Times Ladies. 10 Times Ladies. That's a lot of ladies, Elena. When you hear
absolutely
all these titans of business, people that haven't spent their lives on college campuses making predictions that didn't come true, actually in the real world, how does that make you feel?
Well, I mean, it makes me feel really glad that Trump is going to be our president, that we have Trumposaurus Rex out there, and I'm going to get my little Trumposaurus paws and popcorn ready to watch the show go down, because, you know, these people are just complaining and hooting and hollering and trying to fit a narrative that is not actually true. And they've been exposed, and more exposure is yet to come. So I am ready. I am ready to enjoy the show.
Can you believe there's been drones peppering the skies for the last 3 weeks in New Jersey, and the sitting president hasn't said a word about it?
No, I can't believe it. And they shouldn't be worried about Trump. They should be worried about those drones. And you notice why they stay up north, because down south, if anything flies in the air, we'll shoot them down. So, you know, God bless America and our guns. But when are they going to tell us what they are, and when, more importantly, are they going to get them on the ground and stop surveilling or whatever the heck they're doing up there that they don't want to tell us about? But silencio, silence, no bueno, no good.
They're more concerned about Trump on the magazine cover. Man of the year, excuse me, person of the year. I don't want to be offensive. Person of the year. Why are they so worried about that? It's just a magazine cover.
It's just a magazine cover. And, you know, it's just so degrading that, of course, they want to say, oh, he's in the same company as Stalin and whomever else, because it's one last ditch effort for them to lump him in with such heinous company. But, you know, the truth of the reality is there probably won't be in a position where they even have a job next year. So they can complain all they want, because Trump won with such a large mandate. The people are tired. They see with their own eyes what's happened to this man. And no one has made more of a difference in America recently than the future President Trump.
Well, you know what I really hope, Elena?
He should be.
I hope we don't have any more $32 million mail trucks. I think we keep the ones we have. My mail's on time. We could start DOGE with that. What do you think?
Oh, 1,000,000%. I mean, come on. He's supposed to build 6,000 and only 93. Isn't that so typical? And then you run it down, and it's just their buddies in politics that they're going to go try. It's just, you know, you can't, it's just unfathomable what they have pulled on the American people, and it's being exposed. And I welcome more of it, because I think it's easier to fool someone than to convince them they have been fooled. And we're finally at that phase where we're willing to see what's really existing across this country. And we're now saying, okay, no more fooling around.
All right, well, take those little
guys. I'm telling you, the amount of waste with these electric vehicles that were supposed to be built, all that, it's just such waste. But I wanted to show you this, because this is super important. And thank you so much, B1 Sly One, for gifting a True Life News membership. Let's go. Y'all show B1 Sly One some love in the chat. Guys, I want to show you this. This is why Trump says we got to delete the federal education department. So in this chart, Americans under 45 think of the American founders as villains and heroes. Americans over 45 think they are heroes. So if you look at this chart, the older that you get, the more that you see the American founders as heroes. But look how evenly it's separated at 18 to 29. It's all because of what they've been taught. I have a 3-year-old, and I teach her everything. And what she knows is what I teach her, what me and her mother teach her. And when you think about the education system and how much they're teaching that, that the founding fathers were evil and this and this and that, and they were villains, and they had slaves and all this stuff. Everybody had slaves. The entire world had slaves. And guess what? The entire world moved away from it. There's so much that has changed, but yet these teachers, these righteous, teachers that think that oh man, they have to have their agenda being put into these kids' minds. Look at this chart. It is 100% a broken down education system. But that's why, guys, I love it. That's why I love what they're about to do with DOGE, because check this out. This is, to me, finally getting accountability in the government.
When we look at $36 trillion that we are currently in debt, it's undeniable that this is unsustainable. There's never been a better time than now with the tools that we have with AI, with business intelligence, analytic tools, for us to really do a deep dive and an analysis and use taxpayer dollars wisely.
So that is just one of many Americans reportedly vying for a volunteer position with DOGE. Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk want folks to work 80 hours a week for free, and many people are apparently willing to do it. Todd Pyro and Tyrus are here. Todd, what's different is just a few years ago, you had engineers from Google's DeepMind saying, I won't work for something, I won't work on this project for the Pentagon because they didn't believe America was a good country. This is all of a sudden a very different thing.
Well, it's definitely a Trump sea change, but I also think it underscores the magnitude of this moment, because I think most Americans see that we have an opportunity for transformative change, and much like our country transformed following World War II, maybe they didn't necessarily know it at the time when it was about to go on, but people view this as their opportunity to do real government service. And yes, you're going to work incredibly hard, but you know what? My grandfather, who had a 4-year vacation in Europe, he worked pretty hard while he was there as well and didn't get paid a lot for it either. So this is a great opportunity to help our nation.
Here's a killer quote. This guy's, his name is James Tagg, T-A-G-G. He's 26 years old. He's an electrical infrastructure manufacturing company employee, right? He says, I'm fervently prepared to invest countless days and sleepless nights to realize this vision. I believe America can achieve its full potential with DOGE leading the charge. To rub shoulders with the people inside their orbit is absolutely priceless. I wonder how many people are thinking that way.
Well, you're going to be doing a lot of networking, because once the job is done, there's going to be a lot of opportunities. I'm excited about this. We talked about this on the 5 a little bit yesterday, but I'm excited about seeing people who are willing to give service to their country. Also, the other side of it is the opposition will give voters a good look at who is really for them that they're putting in office and who is not for them. So the special interests and all the other stuff, the ridiculous spending we've seen, the people who fight it hard on us, you gotta have to be able to explain it. The other side of it is, after their service is done with DOGE, I'm hoping that these are the individuals that then run for office, because people who seek office for service and change and not money are the type of people that I want to vote for.
Or even if they start good companies, like innovators. And talking about innovators, Elon Musk is certainly one of them. And President Trump told Time magazine he's not worried about conflicts of interest, saying this. I think that Elon Musk puts the country long before his company. He's in a lot of companies, but he really is, and I've seen it, he considers this to be his most important project, and he wanted to do it. And I think he's one of the very few people that would have the credibility to do it, but he puts the country before, and I've seen it before he puts his company. That's obviously a transcribed sentence there for Trump saying he's not worried about a conflict of interest.
Yeah, also, I think you don't have to look too much further than X or Twitter or wherever it is. He took a real haircut on that, and he did it because he really believed in free speech. And he's not making much money off of that. If anything, he's taking a huge loss. The one thing I would just be cautious of, let's watch what the DOJ does. I think this is an opportunity for Twitter, for Musk, for X, for Trump to all say, we're not going to put our hands on the scales of justice. DOJ has a lot of matters with Elon Musk. Let's see them through without tipping the scales.
Musk has become an American culture figure in a significant way based on what he has accomplished.
I'm sorry, I don't know if I'm taking crazy pills or not. They are all working at the pleasure of President Donald Trump. He's not Biden, who doesn't fire anyone.
Right.
If DOGE is not doing what they're supposed to do, Elon Musk, it doesn't matter who it is, they will get fired and replaced, because President Trump is not afraid to make a change if things aren't going his way. So it's not, they're not going to have it their way. It will be the President of the United States will pull the trigger if it's not getting done to the expectations which they set.
I'm really anxious to see what they accomplish. Like, what can they really get done?
We'll see.
And how much buy-in would you get? So, nice to see you.
Guys, I'm telling you, what I love is what I'm about to show you, because remember, they said a lot of bad things about Trump. They said a lot. They called him every name under the sun. And to me, that's election interference. Like, it's one thing to say Trump said this, Trump is doing this, but to call him Hitler, to try to sway voters away, these news stations that have these, contracts with the government that they get like free broadcast. Well, guess what? Now the lawsuit started where Trump is suing them for $10 billion. And he's also suing George Stephanopoulos after his interview with Nancy Mace for defamation. So I'm going to show you this clip because, guys, this is bad. But this is the reason why Trump is suing ABC and George for $10 billion. Check this out. Let me know your thoughts.
I still get judged for it today.
I'm asking you a very simple question.
And I answered it. You're shaming me for my political choices.
I'm asking you a question about why you endorse someone who's been found liable for rape.
It was not a criminal court. This was a civil court. It was a civil court. And by the way, she joked about the judgment and what she was going to do with all that money, and I find that offensive.
I'm asking you
but
about
as
the man
a rape victim who's been shamed for years now because of her rape, you're trying to shame me again by asking me this political question.
You've repeated that again.
I think it's offensive. As a woman, I find it offensive. For my political choices, I've endorsed the man that I believe is best for our country. It's not Joe Biden. And you looked at the dueling rallies yesterday in Georgia. Laken Riley's family was with Donald Trump. They weren't with Joe Biden. The same guy yesterday that apologized for calling her killer an illegal, who wasn't illegal. And here you are trying to shame a rape victim. I find it disgusting.
I mean, you keep saying I'm shaming you.
You are. The question, it is.
How is the question asking you about a presidential candidate who's
You're asking a rape victim.
And there's no question about that. And you've courageously talked about that.
Because I've been raped. I think that's disgusting.
No, I'm questioning your political choices because you're supporting
shaming me. You're
someone who's been found liable for rape. Actually, I'm not trying to shame you.
You are. That's exactly
what
you're
answering
doing.
the question.
I think it's disgusting.
Well, you're welcome to say that, but you have to answer the question. Why are you supporting someone who's been found liable for rape?
I just answered your question.
What is the answer?
He was not found guilty in a criminal court of law. It was sexual abuse. It wasn't actually rape, by the way. And E. Jean Carroll joked about all the money she's going to get and made a mockery out of this case. And I think that's offensive. There's a reason why women don't come forward. And when you have someone who says that they're raped and they make a mockery out of this civil court judgment, it's offensive to other women. It makes it harder for other women to come forward when another woman has made a mockery of it.
You said women don't come forward because they are afraid. They are afraid because
they're
judged
defamed and shamed,
by those
like you're trying to shame me this morning.
They are afraid to come forward, as you said, because they are defamed by those who commit the rape. That's what Donald Trump has been found guilty of doing.
He defended himself over that and denies that it ever happened, but he was not found guilty in a criminal court of law.
So, guys, right there, let me know what your thoughts are. I hope Trump gets his money. I mean, he doesn't need it, but I hope he gets it just because it's so messed up. All the election interference, all the whole court system, the sham trials, all trying to deter him and not have him, be able to actually run for president without all that, but to have a free and fair election. But he won. We're good, guys. It's good. Just want to say thank you to everybody that's watching, guys. If you're not subscribed, why not? Hit that subscribe button so I can serve you every day with the top news, guys. It's free. And if you don't mind, click the thumbs up like button. We are here to serve you guys. And just want to say thank you so much for all your support. I'm powering through, guys. I'm powering through to get y'all the top news. And it just means so much to me that y'all are here watching. And I just want to tell you that I'm so grateful and so thankful for your support, and want to give some shout outs to Judy Lynn, James Barger, Rick Robatelli, B1 Sly One for your support. Y'all show them some love in the chat. If you want to be a member of the channel, the link is in the description to join the True Life News fam. Guys, we're growing every single day. The channel is growing. It's all because of you. We couldn't do it without you. And I just want to say thank y'all so much from me and my family. We're so grateful to serve you every single day. We love you, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.